Good morning. Now, it's lovely to be here, and as you can see, we've got Glen with us. So it's the first time that we've actually
That's the first
done
time
a
we've
show
shown together, right?
It is,
How fun is that?
I know, it's incredible.
It's always great.
I've been waiting for my time, I have to say.
Yes,
I've been waiting.
Right. They have to draw the straws, you know?
You do, it's basically like that. So I'm the lucky one today. I was going to say, we are doing, obviously, Lehrerite today,
Yes,
but
right.
I thought we could probably have a little chat first just
Sure.
about, you know, where your love for gemstones comes from. Yeah. How did it all start? How did you first
all in 2
get into
seconds?
this?
I'm not sure I can do that. My story's a long one. I like to tell long stories anyways, but real quickly, I was born and I was pretty much an artist all my life and I wasn't raised in jewelry or gems or had no background in it. Actually was terrible in science in high school. Avoided it like the plague. Flunked out of algebra twice, you know, wasn't very good on the scholastic side, but art is where I thrived. And then, of course, my first year of college, I dropped out. I was studying liberal arts, wasn't very interested, and I decided I wanted to take my college money. Very liberal parents let me travel anywhere I wanted. So I took my college money and I traveled around the world, ended up living in India for 2 years and part of that time. And when I came back from India and was back in America trying to figure out what to do with my life, serendipitously, my brother handed me a piece of cut quartz crystal, and I'm going, wow, what is this? And he goes, well, this is natural quartz crystal. I go, yeah, well, what is that? And he goes, well, it's a gem mineral. He says, I said, well, how do you cut this? He goes, I don't know. You're the artist in the family. You figure it out. So that's what I did. I went out and bought my own lapidary equipment, and then I started looking for teachers to teach me. And I didn't want to learn how to facet because I'd seen that and it wasn't very interesting. And I didn't really want to just do cabochons. I wanted to carve because I was an artist. So I immediately started off carving, and I went to look for teachers in America. And we don't really have any schools, so to speak. I teach now to students who come to visit me in the summer months. I teach, but generally speaking, you can't go anywhere. There's no schools.
Exactly.
There's no lapidary schools. You know, you can learn in your clubs, local clubs, of course, throughout the United States. But in that time, the type of carving that I wanted to do was only being done in a little village called in Oberstein, Germany. Which I didn't even know existed at that time. Until I graduated from GIA, I learned all about EDAR. So 10 years into cutting, I had already been quite an established cutter, and also had got my gemology degree. So I decided I wanted to be like Muhammad going to Mecca. I wanted to go to the Holy Land, the Holy Grail of gemstones, which was Eder Oberstein. So when I went there, I took some of my samples, and I showed a few of these cutters that I knocked on their doors and said, "Hey, I'm from America. You know, what do you think of my work?" And they go, "Wow, where'd you learn this?" And I go, well, "I'm self-taught." No, not possible.
How
because
could you do that?
It's totally.
To be honest, though, people don't realise, I don't think, how hard it is to actually cut gemstones. Because I came to Jaipur, obviously, with Glen. I got to go to your cutting house. And you gave me a go, didn't you?
That's right.
Horrendous. I actually managed to completely get rid of the gemstone. I don't know if you remember it. It actually disappeared totally. And I think it's only when you have a go, you realise the skill to actually keep the beauty of a gemstone.
I tell people it really takes a solid 8 years for me to teach somebody from A to the end to learn how to cut gemstones, because you may master quartz, but once you've mastered quartz, cutting garnet's completely different. Cutting topaz is another one. Oh, then you move on to spodumene like kunzites and zaurites. Oh my God, it really got exponentially difficult. And then you move into corundums like sapphires and rubies. Then you got a whole other challenge. So each one of those requires it. And also I'm one of those unusual lapidarists where I'm more of a gem artist, because if you were in Eder Oberstein, you would have learned just how to carve gems like the Fabergé style animals and fish, which is what I love to do, and that's what I learned in EDAR, because I really wanted to be a carver. But then I went back into faceting. So I actually am one of those unique people that have multi-dimensionally teach, where I teach you carving and faceting, where I'm using the laws of refraction and then the sculpturing of beauty through the gem. So it takes a good 8 years. It's like a PhD. It's a long, laborious, and it's typical.
With this gemstone, I mean, is this a gemstone that you would need many years to actually kind of really be able to keep the beauty of it, and to be able to really keep
it is a challenging cut in knowing how to orientate the crystal, because the colors, when you see a natural Lehrerite, and I want to take a moment just to explain for all of you back in America and at home that, you know, Lehrerite is the name that Steve gave, which was nice, and an honoring that he named it after me. But this is really, you know, a Gemporia trade name. But really what it is, it's called Sunstone Labradorite, and it's a labradorite that only comes from one place in the world, which is this Plush County up in Oregon. Very unique. It's been being mined for many, many years, but it's never really taken hold until just now. It's now about to explode on the market. You're going to see it everywhere. But Steve and I went there a couple of years ago. I took him to the mine with a couple friends of ours and a couple guides, and we went to these different miners, and we bought a bunch at that time because they're that and the serenite. We bought a lot of serenite at the time, and kilos of it. We're talking, 3,500 kilos we bought because we were up there. And they were having trouble because there was this andesine coming out of the upper Mongolia that looked just like the sunstone from Oregon, but this was treated by diffusion, the andesine, which is also in the feldspar group. But in this other group, in the labradorite group, this sunstone is an all-natural stone, and it's the only place in the world it comes from is Oregon. So it's not traditionally a hard stone to cut and polish, but what you do need to know is when you see it, you'll see a big chunk like this, and you look at the natural stone, you might see a color center floating in the middle with all the serenite clear around it. And the trick is to turn it to the best color, and you can hang on to some of the serenite, which is the lightish, yellowish, colorless labradorite, which we call serenite here for that. But if you orientate it, so it's all about orientation is really the key.
And you get to experience with this gemstone, as well, as soon as we get onto the piece, we'll be able to see such a different and variety of colors, actually, don't you? Which is what I think so unique about it.
Well, I think what's unique about it is it's to me in that royal world of this peachy purple color, peachy orangey color, which there are only a few stones in the world, starting with paparazzi sapphire. You have the oro preto imperial topaz, and then you have sunstone. And this sunstone is about as close as you're going to get to. Probably there's some pieces you're going to see today that'll look just like an oro preto imperial topaz, which is no longer being mined. It's hard to get, and it's nowhere the cost that the imperial topaz would go for.
Absolutely.
But it's still a very rare stone. I think far rarer than most stones in the world. It just, you all at home are going to get the opportunity to see an exciting new stone that's been around for a while, and like I mentioned, the andesine kind of killed the market for a while, hurt the sunstone in Oregon, but that's all kind of gone away, the andesine, and now the sunstone's coming back and people are recognizing it for its rarity. It's all natural. There's no enhancement, nothing done. You don't need to heat it. You don't need to do any diffusion. There's nothing you need to do but just cutting it, and it's got that imperial peachy color that there are so few stones in the world.
So exclusive.
There's some garnets that get close. There's an imperial garnet I'm getting from Malawi now, but seriously, this material you're going to see today and the colors from a soft peach to an intense, deep coal red, you're going to see it. I think we have some really nice peachy colors. You want to show one right now?
Yeah, I think we might start with this piece because this is actually one of the biggest pieces that we have, and the craftsmanship as well, actually just surrounding that design. I think it just brings out the full beauty of the stone that we can actually see with this.